Hi, my name's Sue Ellam and I'm a professional tarot reader and have been for 25 years. And I'm using the Mythic Tarot, which are based on Greek mythology.
And I'm Carrie Beleno. I'm an intuitive Reiki master teacher and a spiritual life coach for 20 some years as well. And I have words that we are pulling out of that rather than forming actual questions. We just want to see what the questions form out of the words. So this is the word that we just got done talking about in our break between recordings. There's like literally 1,000 words in this bucket, and I just pulled out the word that we just talked about. Okay. You can't make this up. The word is power. And we were just talking about it because I was reflecting on the center that I used to own and how I do miss having that community of healers and light workers and leaders all together in one place, and to work off of each other and support each other. And I was talking about how I missed that part of owning a center, but yet the need to be in control and the need to have the power over it all because financially you are responsible for everything. It just isn't compatible. And that's what I discovered. So I think I'm going to go in that vein. Power being the need to be in control, because that's a prevalent theme right now around the world, in particular in the United States. And this fear of not being in control and fear of not being powerful. So I think that's where intuitively I'm supposed to go with this word power. And I think as we are rebuilding our structures, I think power is going to change. And I think that's what we are all demanding, is that the idea of power shifts. The idea of empowerment is what should take precedence now. This idea that we are all powerful in our own right, and we all have the power to create our reality, the power to attract what resonates with us, the power to control what we put our time and energy into, and not be controlled by the man or whatever you want to call it, Big Brother. And the separation from the power sources to empowerment is part of this evolutionary transition we are in. We are taking back our power, and that's what this ascension process is all about. And that's what I consistently try to coach my clients on, is how do we become empowered by what we put our time and energy into, what we put our emotional attention to, and not giving away that innate power to powerful structures, to the medical system, to the governmental system, to the economic system. And there is a way to do that we are starting to uncover. And that's one of the things that the quarantine and the pandemic has set in motion for us. So thank you to the collective for setting that energetically in motion. And just know that I'm encouraging you all to take back your innate power, to make sure that you put your time and energy and emotions into what matters to you, and not give it away to the outside influences. And that's where the powerful are going, where the power shift is going to occur in the collective. So just a little bit taste of what's coming as we begin to talk about rebuilding our structures. Go.
Okay. Let's see what the cards say. power. It's about, we've got the Three of Pentacles here, and it's about the sharing. This is money and resources. You have as much power as you work for. That it's kind of it's a thing about earning your power, because so many people will just give their power away for nothing, and they will buy into a system where someone else has the power over them. So this is, you will get the power that, and I say you deserve. It sounds a bit kind of harsh that way, but if you aren't going to stand up and say, I need to have the power. I don't want all the power. I don't want to become a millionaire in power terms. I don't want to be a James Bond villain and rule the earth. But I do want the power to live my own life, to be able to support myself, my family, to have the power to make a choice what I do when I do it. So this is about having small amounts of power, but enough power so that you are in control of your own life, and there's nobody else that's pulling the strings. But again, you have to, especially in this day and age, well, I don't think it's just this day and age. I think it's human history when power is taken by the loudest, the noisiest, the biggest bullies, and you don't have to, I've said before, you don't have to yell and shout to be a bully. You can be passive aggressive, and then you take somebody else's power. So this is recognizing that you have the right to the power over your own life. Women have the right of power over their own bodies, and that is having to be fought for as well. That's only one aspect of it. But just being real, I think the first step is to understand that you have the right to the power of your own life. That's nobody else's. You have the right to the power over your own bodies, but you don't have the right for power even over your own children or your spouses. That is, they have their own power. You just, obviously with children, while they're too young to look after themselves, yes, you have the power, but then as soon as they're old enough, you have to gradually give them their own power. And the only way you can do that is by demonstrating that you know what it is like to have control of your own life. Because a child that sees their parents as victims of the system will possibly grow up either angry and rebellious, or with a belief system that they have no power, that they are a belonging of the system. So this is demanding your own power and your own right to your own life. And when you do that, we have the sun, and you'll know exactly where you're going, a lot of enthusiasm, excitement, because having your own power is like having your own generator in a way. You can turn the electricity on and off whenever you want. You're not dependent on the power grid. So it's like it's just knowing exactly where you're going, and you can only do that when you have control of your own life. Then you have the power to forge ahead and fulfill your life purpose, fulfill your soul purpose. And you can't do that when somebody else is basically saying, I own you. That is the difference between power and not, whether you're fulfilling someone else's agenda or you're fulfilling your own. The Fool card here, it's difficult when you've given your power away, when you have a belief in a system, or you've just been so beaten down. And there are some countries where to tell somebody that they have their own power would be, you'd be laughed at, because there's been such a culture of, it can be certain religious groups, it can be kind of women, it can be all, there's different socioeconomic groups that have been brought up to believe that they don't have power, they are there to serve. So to go into that country and say you have your own power, you'd be laughed at. You'd be laughed at. But once people can wake up to the fact that actually we do have the power, we have the power of choice. We have the power to say, okay, I hand my life over to you. You decide what I do. That is a form of power. By keeping quiet, that is, about it. That's a form of power. Or you can say, no, I'm going to make the choice about my life. So this is jumping off the cliff into the unknown, coming away from your comfort zones. So if you've been used to, for instance, being within a company, you've always been somebody that's worked for that company and you're dependent on your salary coming in every week, fortnight, month, whatever it is, you're dependent on your salary, and then you decide, I'm going to run my own business, I'm going to go out on my own. And it's coming away from your comfort zones, and being completely dependent on your own talents, your own skills, in order to earn a living. And that's another form of power. So it's taking your power from a company that tells you what to do, to actually going out and structuring your own days and deciding what you're going to do, which direction you're going to go in. It's another form of power. But it's a lot of times people think that it's actually hard work having your own power. Sometimes it's much easier to sit back and let someone else just rely on the government or whatever, just to support you. It's easy. It's an easier life in some respects. You don't have to stand up and be counted. So there are consequences on demanding your own power or kind of going forward with your own power. There are consequences of that, because you will not be able to rest on your laurels. You will have to come out of your comfort zones and jump off at the cliff and not know exactly where it's taking you. And that can be scary for a lot of people. A nice comfortable armchair and a kind of monthly check is a much more comfortable place to be. However, if you do jump off that cliff into the unknown, we have here the 10 of Cups, and this is peace and tranquility. Your dreams are about to come to fruition, and you just know that you know where your heart lies. It's well worth it, but it is scary to start off with, especially if you haven't had power, you haven't felt as though you were in control of your own life. It is scary, but the end result is a feeling of peace, that I can do with my life whatever I want. And if I can go and work there, or I can do this, I can do that. I'm not restricted. So this is a feeling of freedom. So by taking your own power, you get this, at the end of the day, you get freedom. But it is challenging. It's not without its work. So those are what the cards are saying.
Well, the key takeaway in all of this is empowerment versus power. So we encourage you to become empowered, and we're here to help. So
Absolutely.
Please like, share, and subscribe.
Absolutely. And thanks very much for joining us. Bye.